Alrighty. Welcome, everybody. My name's Lou. You're probably already sick of me from the MC thing this morning. I am here mostly to introduce Iva, but I will be on this panel as well. Welcome to Love Beyond Appearance. This will talk about navigating romantic relationships in the cleft experience as well. So, Iva, I'm going to have you take it away. I'm going to take my spot.
Thank you so much, Lou. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Iva Ballou. I am the Cleft Community Development Manager for Smile Train, and today I will be moderating this lovely panel of Love Beyond Appearances, Navigating Romantic Relationships with a Facial Difference. I'm going to open it up by having our couples introduce themselves. I'm going to start at the very end with Dick and Luci.
Hi, I'm Luci, Capo, and Dick, and myself. We've been married for almost 25 years. Dick, you want to add to that?
Yeah, the 10th of August will be our 294th month. We celebrate every month. We get each other cards, and I get her flowers.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Courtney, and this is my husband, Joe Collins. We're close to Luci and Dick, married at 8 months. So we have lots of good tips to share. And we are expecting a baby girl in November. So.
Hi, my name is Stacia Damron. I am Lou Jug's fiance. We are getting married this April, and we got engaged in December.
Yeah. That's going to cause problems with the mic, but we got the full spectrum of relationships here.
So at this time, I would like to ask all of our cleft-affected panelists, can you share your personal experience of how you disclose your facial difference or your cleft to your partner?
I went ahead shortly after we met, and I revealed it to Dick. And he said that he was very surprised that he didn't really notice. I felt comfortable at the time telling him. And because of his love and kindness and caring, it didn't matter. I just felt comfortable with him. So it was a gift at the time.
You can share your reflection.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything with Luci. I was looking in her eyes.
Aww.
And she's perfect.
Aww.
I think it's interesting as an adult. As a kid, I talked about my cleft all the time because kids are curious and ask questions. And as an adult, I didn't really talk about it that much. And so it was probably a couple months into dating Joe that I was like, I should probably tell him. And so we had, a slow conversation over time of little bits of, oh, I have a cleft. And he's like, I know, and I think you're beautiful. And we had lots of conversations that would come up about like, okay, I had a surgery here, or this is why I have a hip scar, or different things like that. But it was kind of something slowly over time we got to talk about. But Joe's always been super supportive of it. So.
And I'll add to that, just being able to walk in your experience with Smile Train and now CleftCon, and how great the community is, and seeing you kind of blossom into, meeting other people that are cleft affected, and how it's really given us something in our relationship to discuss and learn more about each other and be a part of something.
I'll start us over there. Stacia and I have a lot of words. So throughout dating, I think both of us had met people that we hadn't connected with before. And when we met, we just had so many dang words that I also didn't have a beard at the time. So she probably noticed I had a scar. But I think probably around third or fourth date, it just kind of came up. And she's like, oh, that's really great. I'm sure I'll learn more about that. You have a lot of words. I'm sure you'll share a lot more soon. So it was a pretty easy conversation given the connection that we had. Do you have any more, sweetheart?
I always just thought he was super cute. And as he said, he has a lot of words, which is why he's an excellent MC today. And it's one of the things I love most about him, whether when we started dating, it was a 100-word text. And I was like, yeah, I can really get to know him. Or whether it was an 8-hour date, that for most people it would have been 2 or 3. I felt like we could always just talk about anything.
So, Luci, what role did Dick play in supporting you through any difficulties related to your cleft?
He was very, very supportive. I had my last 2 surgeries in 2002, and we had just been married about 2 years. and we had to travel because we had moved from the Denver area to Kansas City, and oh no, the other way around. So I had to go back to Kansas City to have my 2 surgeries, and he was always right there with my plastic surgeon at the time. And also, anything that I've wanted to do, especially with Smile Train, he's been very, very supportive in all my activities, all my other activities having to do with my cleft. And I couldn't ask for more for his support. I'm very grateful for that.
Okay. And so Courtney
Yeah,
and Joe. Oh, you have something to do?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you are now going through parenthood. You're expecting. How has your cleft influenced your first year of marriage and in that journey of like motherhood and parenthood?
Yeah, so in our first year of marriage, it's really given us something cool to talk about and to be passionate about. Being a part of YLC was the first time I had ever been in a room full of other adults or anyone else that had a cleft. And so it was a unique experience for me my first year to go to New York and get to meet the other people on the YLC and bring Joe along. And this year we get to do YLC together, which has been really cool in a way in our marriage that I've learned so much about having a cleft. Joe's learned a ton about having a cleft, and then turning that into a passion within our family of how do we advocate for this community, how do we give to this community, and how do we be a good member of this community. And I think it's been really exciting to think about our baby girl coming in November, and we had the conversation of what if she has a cleft? And, I was like, that would be really exciting. It was a gift for me. It was something challenging, I think, when I was younger, but made me a lot of who I am today. And it's kind of my superpower. I think having a cleft is what you make out of it. And so if she does or if she doesn't, she hit her face in our ultrasound, so we have no idea. But we're really excited to be able to bring her into this and this community, whether or not she has a cleft, and make her a supporter.
In that same vein, Lou, I know that you have said that you and Stacia didn't talk about your cleft much in the beginning of your relationship, but now that you're engaged, it's coming up a little bit more. And due to parenthood, how does that come across?
I think I'll steal your line about superpower kind of thing. I know for me, it was really challenging growing up with this, but a lot of the best things out of my life came from that. Got out of school, I met Stacia, and these are all great things. And it's kind of been a conversation about maybe unlikely, but if it happens, we have the tools and the resources in the community to do this. My mom has also been a huge part of my care journey too. So grandma's got all the playbook to do what we need to do. So it's just a challenge that we'll tackle like any other challenge in our relationship.
Beautiful. And Stacia, how do you encourage open communication and understanding about Lou's cleft with other people if they have questions or concerns?
Well, firstly, I'm just so proud of everything Lou has done with Smile Train. And, since I met him, he was incredibly involved. And just really proud of all he's, done to be a part of this group. When it comes to open communication, one of the things I love most about Lou is what a good communicator he is to begin with. It's one of his most positive qualities, and I think he does a very good job of sharing his story to make others more comfortable and to, share how he has grown up, and that has been wonderful.
And I'm going to pose that question to the other spouses as well. Has there come up a conversation where you had to have that conversation with family or friends about, they have a cleft, and what did that look like?
Not really.
Okay.
We've kind of discussed it with my family and what we do with Smile Train, but it's never come up as a point of topic other than us bringing it up. And I, as a child, never noticed it, but one of my best friend's fathers had a cleft. And as a kid, I never, knew anything of it, but my parents have now oh yeah, of course, he was affected, and now seeing us involved with it. It's been a good talking point for the family, but not really a, hard point of conversation, thankfully, for our family.
Yeah, it hasn't been a top conversation. People in my family, our families know of Luci's cleft, but it's just not an issue. I think recently, with Luci going to D.C. to advocate for Elsa and being a movie star on TV in Kansas City, that they may be getting to have more of an idea of how focused and how committed she is. But it's not a piece of the conversation.
Beautiful. Okay. And then Dick, this is just a personal question that I like to ask anyone who's been married 20, 25 years plus. What's the secret to a lasting marriage? And I'm going to ask the same to Luci after you finish.
Well, as long as she does absolutely everything I tell her to do. No. No, one of the gifts that we have is there's no ego in our relationship. Nobody has to win. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's easy. It's just an easy relationship.
Nice.
For me, it's each of us living our own lives and doing what we want to do and living out our dreams and our intentions and then coming together as a couple. And I call that interdependence, and it really works. So it's really, important for me, for Dick to live his life and do what gives him joy, and the same thing for me.
People say that marriage is hard, it's difficult. Not this one.
Oh, okay. We can't really follow that up. We can't really follow that up. So I'm not going to make the other couples follow that. So I will go on to the next question, and that is, for each of the panelists, what advice do you give to someone with a facial difference or a cleft who's hesitant about entering the dating scene? And anyone can go first.
I can go first.
Yeah.
I think it was funny. We were actually talking about when you invited us to be on this panel and kind of talking about dating. And I was like, I was so insecure about way more than my cleft. Like being 6 foot tall girl made me more insecure about dating than my cleft ever did. And I think dating is a vulnerable thing. Being in a relationship is a vulnerable thing. And so everybody has something that, you're insecure about, whether you can see it or not. A cleft is something you can see, but I think putting yourself out there, and if a relationship is really important to you, everybody's got something that they're a little afraid to share, and that's something you get to do. And dating comes with a lot of fun stories and some funny stories, and that's how you get to find someone like Joe who supports you and is in this with you. And I think everybody just has to be a little bit vulnerable and put themselves out there.
And I will say, once you find kind of that right person, it's easy. Like Dick was saying, everyone has their things, but you work through that. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And when you find the right person, it just finds a way of working out.
I think that when you find, kind of on that same note, the person that is your person, you feel comfortable being your complete self with that person, and they love you for just the full and complete you.
I think it's really easy for folks born with a cleft to that's your number one worry about everything, because we've all experienced so many things. And we often forget, I even forgot, I was like, oh, Stacia swiped right on me. It's not in her world. She's like, yeah, great, you look awesome. And so sometimes we end up focusing on some of the tougher things that we've been through instead of the positive things that say, no, she's interested. This is great. And if you get rejected, it's not because of your cleft. In my case, it was people don't like paragraph long text. And she liked the way I communicated, and we're a good fit. And so maybe almost embracing who you are, but that's not the only thing that people are looking at in a dating relationship.
Good. Yep.
For me, I just remembered that I'm a person who just happens to have a cleft, and I felt when I was dating that, and I reminded myself that I am an attractive woman in my own way. I'm beautiful in my own way.
Yes.
And so I didn't worry about that anymore. Of course, you know, we were in our 40s when we met, so it was different then. And so it went well. And we both met on a dating service back then, and Dick can share with that. Do you want, we have a couple minutes for that? You want to tell about the dating service and what you went through and all that?
Lucy's number 16.
I was
And
78.
I would leave those dates getting back in my car saying, God, I'm glad that's over with. But not here. We had a nice dinner. We went out to a movie after dinner. A week later, we went to dinner again and went to a dance, and I introduced Lucy to my friend as Lori. And every year, I dressed to impress at our first date. I had an Elton John t-shirt that my daughter gave to me when she went to the concert. So every year on July 3rd, the day we met, we go back to the same restaurant.
With the same clothes. And for a while there, we were able to get the same booth. And then we thought, oh, those people are in our chair. We need to kick them out. But we didn't. And then over the years, when we lived in different places, we would just find a Mexican restaurant that was similar. And then we went back when we found the same restaurant. And so it's been fun to do that, to celebrate. I have had to change my pants a couple times, but I still have the same top that I wore back then. I can still wear it.
So we play.
Yeah,
We play.
Yeah, we did. We played.
Okay. And Lou and Stacia, what are you guys looking forward most to that first year of marriage?
I'm excited to wrap up wedding planning first. But
Yeah, I mean, everything, it kind of seems like a conclusion of us hitting it off so well. I knew in 5 minutes that I was going to marry this woman, so, like, I'm just excited to finally get to that point.
Yeah.
I kind of had to win a little bit, but I'm just excited to start a family, start a life together.
Because I have a funny anecdote about that. I did not know that very first YLC, you guys had just been kind of newly
That was our
dating.
first trip
like
together.
they went on their very first trip to the YLC conference, and Stacia really fit in. Like she had known him for years. They just worked
Now we
together.
were married, so I'll show her.
Well, thank you so much to the panelists, and they will be around the rest of the day. That is our time. We are going to be moving on to the next session, but we are so thank you to each and every one of the panelists. Let's give them a round of applause.